talking peace over power with the power of
GW Pop Talk. Are you ready to talk?
Yes, our intentions are good, and yes, we are literally talking in intent. We're here today to talk face to face with some of the people here in South Park, Hermosa Beach, California, on various subjects such as music, health, food, social media, and most of all, peace. Our main intention with GW Pop is to open conversation to let thoughtful ideas in and shine light on ways to build the power of peace and make change a real possibility. So today we're going to be talking about family life. So like how family, good? How the way you were raised shaped who you are, and kind of like comparing it, I think, is a good way to get started to like new generations.
Yeah.
What valuable lessons have you learned from the elders of your family?
Learned a lot of things, especially from my dad, who had a really profound impact on my life.
Yeah.
And he actually was a film producer, and that consistent effort over time. That he used to say things like, Michelle, if you're going to play tennis, play with someone who's better than you. That you continue to try to grow, and you never settle. You don't play down, you play up.
That's a great one. Actually, my
like
uncle taught me really similar things. We have very similar passions. He's an engineer and a musician in the music business, and I'm a musician and artist too. So other than just all the basic, literal physical things he's been able to teach me, like, how to work the board, but he always taught me those same lessons, which is always be in a band or something with people that are better than you.
Yeah,
But he says, people that scare you, because they're so much better than you, you're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I'll ever be that good, but that's how you improve.
Right. That's
And
how you
that's the
learn the
point,
most.
is to just get better, right?
Yeah.
Another thing is he used to say things like, "Why do you care what other people think about you?" Because I was very shy.
Yeah.
I grew up all over the world, and my dad made films, and so adaptability is an important thing. You have to be able to adapt to the country that you live in, and pick up on the culture and the cues.
When you get older, you can kind of, or at least when you're a teenager maybe or something, when I would look at parents be all strict with their kids, kind of like, hey, what are you doing? Let the kid figure it out on his own, or and stuff like that. But I don't believe that anymore. I think that some sort of authoritarian discipline is definitely necessary at like a certain age, and that kind of helps the kid figure out how to figure his own things out.
Also, I think it's important to allow your children to fail. That the whole helicopter hovering parenting, which is it's not good. I mean, so basically, we don't want my mom to watch this. We had a nanny. I had a nanny growing up, and she was very strict. But she would also she would give you parameters, and within those parameters, you were allowed to do things that were creative and expressive. But no, you were not allowed to color on the walls or use, we got our mouths flushed out with soap, or we were spanked. You knew how to behave, and there was a time for work and a time for play. My dad would say, if you're going to drink, like, I was never really interested in drugs or alcohol. I mean, they smoked pot. I'm like, okay, whatever. If you're going to drink at home. So it kind of took the fun out of it. The whole goal of adolescence is to individuate and do the opposite of what your parents are telling you to do, unless you actually admire and have seen that what they're doing works for them.
Yeah.
So
Even still, you gotta rebel,
yes,
because you don't want to
totally
be a
agree.
robot, right? As you grow up, you have even if what they're giving you is like golden knowledge and it's like the truth of life, you still should rebel at a certain
You
age,
have to have
because
that knowledge comes experientially. For
Yeah.
somebody to tell you what to
it's not gonna work.
do doesn't.
And people try to do that to you when you're older, and you have to be able to like not listen to people to a degree. It's kind of a tough one for me, the authority figure.
Yeah.
because-
So what do you guys think is like a good way to discipline? Like, do you believe in like spanking your children, or do you believe in just it's okay? Like, what is your perspective on that?
I'm on the fence. There has to be a way to. I don't like physical hitting.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of like hit someone psychically.
Yeah.
My mom did that my mom spanked us too, but there were also some, hey, it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, or they scare you so bad
Yeah.
that they just tower over you. It's like, I will spank you
Right.
if you don't stop, And maybe that's better. I don't know. I was spanked, and I don't have
I think
psychological issues.
that you know. I'm just kidding.
God, I've never thought about it before. GW
No, I
therapy.
think discipline. It talks about this in the Bible, and that discipline is to teach. Okay, and there are many different ways to discipline. And physical punishment. I was spanked. I got, and I don't necessarily. It doesn't matter. I think you have to have consequences. My parents are very, very strict, and now it's like these parents are afraid of their kids. And I can tell you from experience, having teenagers, that I was very strict, and my ex-husband basically accused me of, when I took my daughter's iPhone away, of child abuse. Like you've got kids these days who are calling, 1-800 child abuse on their parents, and there has to be that they, even if they're smarter than us by the time they're in 5th grade, there has to be that perspective.
Right.
You will not cross this boundary. And I think we've lost that, and I think that's, unfortunately, we've got an increase in kids who are addicted to drugs, have behavioral issues, hospitalizations.
Discipline, you're kind of saying, is pretty crucial for shaping how we become, or being a
If you're
good
going to be
person.
successful at anything,
Successful.
musician, or a dancer, or athlete, or whatever you do, you have to.
Discipline's pretty crucial.
Discipline is crucial.
I was going to say, I think there's a lot of angles and aspects of this because, we live in a society, and especially in America, where I'm very involved in health, and the raising of children is, I see in a lot of children, there's this overamped sense of rebellion and not focusing or caring about the parent a lot of times because of a lot of what's in our food. And high fructose corn syrup causes and fake sugar is we need to talk about this stuff because if children come into the world and they're healthy and balanced and there's respect between there's so many things that happen because there can be an energetic transference of trauma from a parent to a child without intention that is biological, that comes from the womb.
Genetic PTSD.
Exactly.
Okay, this is
and
really clear.
So it's hard to blanket it, but you know what I'm saying?
I've never heard anybody use that terminology, but I believe that I did that to my kids. But the nutrition and also the whole pace of life, the importance of downtime. We live in a world where people are eating fast food. Nobody eats dinner together.
We got fast food. We got no slow food.
People don't grow gardens. They don't eat natural food. They don't. Everything is.
It's all work.
And it totally changes because when I was young, my brother and I, honestly, not to toot our own horns, but we'd never ever felt an inkling to rebel against our parents or be toward their authority because it wasn't like that. My mom called literally.
Did you grow up in Berkeley?
Huh?
No. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago.
Okay.
But my mom just created this. She was so freaking just health conscious. And in some ways she was
awesome.
bordering on I understand it now because I understand knowing how bad certain and destructive certain things are to a child's development. You're please put that down. Stop going to McDonald's without asking me because that's actually really whatever. That's causing problems you don't understand because you're a little child.
I think that's a huge aspect of parenting today.
You're right, because I would imagine I'm only a child of a parent, not a parent of a child, but I would imagine that being on the latter side, or whatever, being the child of a parent is I'm grateful for that sort of balance of being assertive and knowing what's best, and at the same time having the respect for a child and letting the child breathe and have opinions, and giving them almost a place where they can feel respected and loved. And that created such a harmony in myself as a child that I literally never rebelled, and there wasn't discipline, maybe once or twice, but it wasn't a pattern. And I see a lot of kids my age who are just so ungrounded and confused and angry because their family unit was destroyed.
I'm glad you brought up the food because I think now we could see the fast food generation of children growing up raised on fast food.
I'm one of them.
And it's kind of that's a sort of discipline too.
I've got a lot of health problems now,
Really?
Because I've always wanted kids, so I've actually been really interested in the developmental psychology and things like that, and what is actually good for kids that psychologists have discovered, things like discipline, where it's really easy to watch a parent discipline their kid and go, what are you doing? Let the kid be a kid. But it turns out that actually, by doing this, you're really giving the freedom to be able to do what they really want when they're older.
Growing children is it's kind of unique. it's like growing a plant, and you have to have the right soil, and you have to have the right nutrients, and you have to be consistent in your watering of the seeds, and nutrition, and spirituality, and time. I don't know where I read this. Time is the currency of love. It's very expensive to live in this area. People have nannies. People are booking. Most families, dual income. Time is the currency of love. The time that you invest in your children and in teaching them these things, and invest in feeding them spiritually or emotionally or physically.
Something you said earlier, my uncle had a funny way of saying it, which I always like to tell people, is don't be afraid to suck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is huge.
Which is kind of what you said earlier, but
yeah,
you can't get good at anything unless you suck at it first.
It's so true.
I mean? And so most of us are just afraid to suck at things because we're embarrassed, and people who don't suck are gonna be like, he sucks. But unless you go through sucking,
no, you have failure. You have to let your
fail.
kids fail. You can't tell them that they're like. This is one of the reasons why I love baseball. My dad played baseball, and baseball is a game of failure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, life is about failing and getting back up, and having the adaptability to not fall apart. We live in this world now where everybody, this person's so great. Like, I never really failed until my 40s, and let me tell you, because I worked hard, and I probably did shy away from doing things that I didn't think I'd be perfect at. But failure is what makes you. You will never be.
Character.
It builds character. Adversity builds character.
Strength,
you will never be successful if you don't fall down again and again and again and learn how to get back up.
They're not
like,
letting
for example,
kids suck.
like the cheerleading team,
Right.
there's this one high school that like you don't have to audition, everybody's included in the cheerleading team.
Yeah.
Do you think that's destructive?
Yeah, I think that's really stupid, and I think they're not letting anyone fail. Like we're just talking about how important it is to suck. You can't become great at something unless
there have
you
to be
suck
standards.
and you know you
there
suck.
have to be standards.
That's important because if you have to know
this
you
suck
suck
word-
in order to get better. You don't like suck?
Okay, not good enough yet.
Shitty?
Okay, but when you say so, that's
uncensored.
a judgment. That's a judgment word. Things I've done are because people have said you can't do them. Like I'm still driven by that. You can't. Oh, you can't do that. Oh no way. You can't do that job. You can't do like I got into yoga because somebody said you can't do yoga. Are you kidding me? You can't stand still. I mean, you can't sit still. You're hyper. So then I went, oh yeah, oh really? That's the way to get me to do things. Is like we have. Anyway, I think it's important to constantly challenge yourself and your children, and if you let them, I mean, it depends on what your objective is as a family unit and in raising children. My objective in raising children was to raise children who had morals, strong moral compass, were well adjusted and cared about others and the environment, and but I didn't say you have to get straight A's. Put forth their best effort.
Just don't be afraid to maybe point out. I mean, everyone always does something right. So give them a little props, and then say, you could probably improve on some of this, or just be nice, be a teacher. Teach the person.
They call it the sandwich approach.
The sandwich approach?
Yeah. I thought I knew what the sandwich
can you
approach
take over because I can't finish.
I think it's just like you have a kind of sandwich of criticism in like the compliments.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I really like how you did this, but you could.
But we had a teacher who did that, and like people couldn't even tell that he was like kind of dissing their project super hard because it was so nice about it.
But you want it creates this desire, like I want.
Exactly.
The punitive judgmental approach of like you did this wrong makes people shut down, makes me shut down. But what the approach that you're talking about is I want to do better. I'm gonna do better.
Because I'm doing right. I'm doing things correctly.
I'm doing successful.
There's a couple things I could work on, because when you just come up and say you suck, then it's like, well, I'm not doing anything right. I guess maybe I should go do something else.
Then you give up. Then you're like, I might as well just.
One thing I wanted to say is like I think like a lot of this is operating within the idea of like optimization of a child or a person. And what I will say is I think a lot of it comes from a lot sort of like a view that's weighted a little bit more towards the intercessor or the person, the guardian, the parent, the person who's trying to help the child and the child themselves. And I feel like there's so many factors, like I was saying earlier, that kind of obscure a child and like make them feel like they can't really find it, and they need people to constantly tell them what to do and revise. And I think that there's, you don't. I honestly feel that children shouldn't need to be revised so much, and like there shouldn't need to keep meeting these. For example, as a child, I was really. I didn't like. It's not that I was afraid of. I did not like competition because it didn't suit me. And I felt actually the sense of community, what you were saying about the cheerleaders. Yeah. I think it depends on how you look at it. It's certain people would love that open forum, and they could probably find something really beautiful in the compassion and freedom of that. And other people really like the competition.
Find it terrifying.
And it's totally different. Yeah. It's like every child is a unique case, and like they have a different soul path. They have a different journey, and there's so many factors to take into consideration. And I think what I was talking about in the earlier conversation was this idea of like rearing a child by protecting their connection to themselves as much as you can.
This is the key. This is the key to raising healthy children is an internal locus of control.
Beautiful.
Okay. Well, I don't even know how I would know that, but if you're constantly looking around going, I need somebody to tell me what to do, and is this right or is this wrong, and I need to take a survey. If you don't internally know what your path, and you can seek guidance, but I think this internal locus of control, there's a lot of factors that create that, and it sounds like your mom, your parents did a beautiful job, but.
So you're saying like to teach them to be able to self-discipline?
So it's like two things at once. It's two things at once. It's protecting the child's compass and letting them be the designer of the compass instead of being like, maybe you should actually put a thing here or whatever. Letting them find their own decadence and staying connected to, because I really feel that everyone comes from a magical source.
I love that.
You need to protect the magical source. And then they can prove something to you that is not even in existence. It's not even like, okay, well, you need to be the best in writing if you want to be a writer. It's like, maybe that child has a way bigger plans, and now because you're talking about they need to be the best in this, and here's how you can be better. They're thinking in terms of what is best in what is category, what is.
How do you judge that?
Well, I think that's what changed my mind, because as I got older, I was super anti-authoritarian, pretty much still, but I have a respect for it.
Cool.
I understand it.
Just don't get caught. Just don't get caught.
But in order for the person to really be able, because like we were talking about self-discipline, you really want to protect that. Everyone has the ability to self-discipline and to live their own life. But it kind of seems like a lot of people my age, and my sister's only 19, and a lot of people her age, they're already entering their 20s, and they have no idea what to do, and they're doing nothing, and there is no self-discipline. You know what I mean? It doesn't just happen for no reason. Like you don't just get it, and then when you turn 20, all of a sudden,
Because they've been coddled and enabled.
Yeah, because I think they weren't disciplined. I think discipline is lacking because people are afraid of being insensitive, or they're afraid of other people thinking they're insensitive to their kids. And there's just so much sensitivity that everyone's afraid to have a strong arm. And it turns out the strong arm plays a huge role in making sure that person grows up to not need strong arms, to be able to strong arm themselves.
I think it's really just about like a balance of discipline and love and freedom.
For real, well said. Yeah.
But
sex, love, rock,
and roll.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I can say I'm not.
All right, cut.
Restraint.
Yeah.